up until about 2004. So some of you may have done this. The guys may not have done this, but the girls may relate to this. 2 weeks out from Christmas, throw a little dinner party. Invited all my friends around, champagne. I had a 10-month-old baby and I had a 4-year-old daughter. So I had 2 kids, had 5 staff, I had 3 clinics on the Gold Coast. I was back doing another degree. I had 2, but I thought I needed a third. And you know the deal. I was exercising, I was doing all these fun things. Had the dinner party, everyone was arriving, filling up their glasses with champagne, everyone was hoo-haing, giggling, all the rest of it. My husband at the time was over by the spa. And that was kind of the scenario I'd imagine would equal perfect happiness for me. 2 kids, friends around, spa, husband, ball. But it wasn't. Something happened. One of the little ones did a poo. So I'm stuffing the turkey, something I'd never done before, and looked down and Maisie's done a whoopsie. So I yelled out the window, can you come in and change Maisie's nappy? Well, he looked at me and went, really? Yeah, really. Didn't come. So, unstuff the turkey, go and change this nappy, come back, seething. Now, I couldn't throw a pot or a pan, and that wasn't my style anyway, but I tell you, if there weren't people there, I might have thrown something in the direction of the spa, like a pooey nappy. But anyway, I didn't. But what it did do is 2 of my best friends came in and they said, Sam, what's going on? You sounded terrible there. They didn't say that, they said you sounded like a biatch. I said, what? Me? I was mortified, absolutely mortified. And for a lot of you in the room, you're really worried about what people think of you. Well, I'm one of those people, and I was so upset. Shakes microphones. So anyway, I went to bed. 8 days later, I left. Left the relationship. Because I was mortified that that was the person I'd become. I had a little meltdown, a little hormone explosion. And as I said, I've got lots of degrees, I've got a pharmacology background, I've got masters in nursing, blah, 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 blah. I had no explanation why I was experiencing anger in that scenario. So I went to the books. Those days when Google wasn't as reliant as it is now. So I went to the books, I looked for why women get angry, and there was nothing in there. Absolutely nothing to indicate why we get angry. Except there's a little bit of research by this guy called Professor Dabbs, who lives in the States, well, he used to live in the States, he's dead now, and he looked at prisoners, female prison inmates, and they had extraordinarily high levels of testosterone. And this gave me a bit of a, okay, maybe it's a hormone making me really angry and cranky and unhappy. So I went and checked my saliva levels, because blood testing for hormones is a waste of time. And if anyone has had their sex hormones tested on blood tests, a lot of the time they're told, nah, nothing's wrong with you. So the woman sits there going, well, clearly I'm psychotic then because I don't feel right. So blood testing is not the right way to measure sex hormones. Saliva testing is. World Health Organisation endorses it as the only way of checking sex hormones. So that's what I did. I went and did my own little saliva test. Anyway, surprisingly, well not really, my testosterone came back higher than most men. So I stand here with long hair, wearing a frock, and I still grapple with that. My testosterone still pushes up. So it's led to this whole discovery for me of hormones, which is why I find them really sexy. So now, being a primary care nurse, I see heart disease now through hormones. I see it now through cortisol, insulin, all the other hormones, interleukins, prostaglandins, vitamin D, all the hormones, adrenaline, noradrenaline. You may have heard of some of those. So I decided to write a little book called Beauty and the Beast Within, because that's how I felt. And I still feel as women, we're very beautiful on the outside, but sometimes this little thing snaps out. Call it a beast, call it what you like. And it will speak on your behalf of that little unhappy place in you that's really tired and exhausted and resentful. And that's often driven by hormones. So from there, now this is where we really start. I do write for papers and interviews and all the rest of it. I do have a couple of books, so the Keeping Up, that's the latest one, and that's for men. Now, while in Australia, statistically, they say 20 to 40% of women... Can I still speak without it? Yeah, sounds good. Okay. So 20 to 40% of Australian women have high testosterone. So 4 out of 10 of the people coming to see you, if they're a girl, they've got high testosterone, I'll tell you right now. Maybe even higher. Men, interestingly, so the men have different hormones set to us. They predominantly have testosterone as their driving hormone. And that kicks in during later than girls, so about 16, 17, testosterone kicks in for guys.
They get their voice box, long bones grow, get muscles and become a man. They get oily skin, pimples sometimes, and lots of hair. Funnily enough, when we push our testosterone, that's what happens to us. We get facial hair, we get oily skin, oily hair, cranky spankies. So anyway, guys are doing the opposite though. So we're finding that men in Australia are dropping their testosterone and their female hormone estrogen is going up. So what do you think is happening to them?
Man boobs.
Oh yeah, they're getting the boobs. They are. So they get what happens to us through puberty, which is hips, love handles, boobs, girl thoughts. But actually, girl thoughts for a guy's anxiety and depression. Guys are usually pretty good at going, yeah, nah, that's my decision, that's that. As soon as they start going, better start thinking about her and her feelings, well, their testosterone's on the... I know, some of what I say is a little bit against burning the bra, and trust me, I've been a feminist my whole life, so it's a very interesting journey for me because I do believe biologically we have beautiful strengths as women, and we don't need to ignore them and say that we shouldn't be cooking it in the kitchen because we should be. I actually find when women do more of that stuff, they're more grounded, and they feel awesome. But when it's, oh my God, I've got to kick very really, I've got to wait, it's not a pleasure, it's a chore. And it's a I must do thing, so they end up resenting it. And guys really should be hunting and gathering. But, it can work the other way with really good dialogue and understanding where people come from. TV, this thing about women and testosterone, as I said, there was no research on it. Wrote this book and suddenly it's like, oh my God, this woman's got all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I just have a very busy clinic and I see lots of women with high testosterone. And I'm making observations every single day about how we think, how we structure our 24-hour day, why we continually try and cram 30 hours into 24 and never will go. Women come and see me and they say, I've got no sex drive. I go, really? Look at you, you look exhausted. Of course you've got no sex drive. And then I go, let's just plan out your day. So they plan out their day, invariably there's 30 hours, they're trying to squeeze into 24. Where was sex on that list? Sex? I don't have time for sex. So sometimes when I'm designing their most perfect day a week, I get them to factor in 30 minutes a day for sex. So if it's not even factored in, there's no way no one's going to get a show. Interesting, isn't it? Might be news for you boys, but that's how we think.
Get some referrals from the Times.
Factor in 3 hours of sex. Anyway. Okay, so we know all that stuff. That's why we're here. This industry is not shrinking, unfortunately. Sonia and I did an interview maybe last week, and she said, do you think this industry is going to, have we hit, I don't know if anyone's heard of peak oil. There's this philosophy that we're going to hit the maximum amount of oil, and that's called peak oil, which is predicted about 2020. Then we're going to have to look for alternative fuel supplies. I think that we haven't hit peak fat yet. Peak fat for me, unfortunately, is going to be about 2020, 2025. Then something's going to snap. And we won't be able to afford to keep these people going. We just can't sustain it. So hormones, that's where I come from. Now, or what I love talking about. So I see hormones as a bit of a baton. So your pituitary gland here has to get a message down to your ovaries or somewhere else in the body. Well, obviously you can't detour from the brain and go down and do it, so it uses hormones. And they are like a little baton.